Hello. All right. Last question for the morning is from T. John. Yeah, I'm going to imagine this as being read in an H. John Benjamin voice in your honor. Yeah, even though it's whatever. Whatever. Yeah, just let me have this. So, for school groups and other organizations that are moving toward normalcy, yeah, we're seeing lots of emphasis placed on checking temperature of individuals on a daily basis. How effective will this practice be in protecting the group as a whole, and do you recommend it? Yeah. All right, so it's one of these things that is helpful in some cases. So when you have a temperature, usually you feel bad as well. Most people don't just get a phantom temperature and then, it's like, oh, I don't know, how could this have happened, officer? Yeah. No, it's usually that you feel kind of sick and then the temperature is on top of that. Usually doesn't come by itself because it's a symptom and it's part of an inflammatory response. And it's a thing that happens along with a bunch of other stuff, and they're all kind of interconnected and they're hard to separate. So, what's the point of checking temperatures? I think the idea is to catch people that are just trying to tough it out and are going to show up anyway and be like, yeah, what, me? Or people, since this is school, people whose parents have to literally go to work and have nowhere else to put these kids and they're sending them to school anyway because they need somebody to look after them, which also, yeah, I get that. So, how effective will it be? About as effective as taking off your shoes at the airport, I think. you know, More security theater, I think, than actual security is what I would say for both of those. Yeah. Or, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Actual terrorism experts, you disagree with me. That's fine. Because you actually know what you're doing. And so I just have to accept that. Um, but yeah, I don't think it's going to do. So people are thinking if we take everybody's temperature when they come in, then everybody's safe. And that's not the case. Something like half of the people ever get a temperature, the other half don't. And when you do get a temperature, it's a very low temperature. And so it's not very likely to actually even show up unless the equipment is quite sensitive. And if you have a normally lower body temperature, then a slightly raised temperature would get you back to normal, which wouldn't mean a thing. You're going to find out a lot about natural variation in human body temperature, which there is considerable natural variation, and not as much about coronavirus. So it's a thing you could do if you want to reassure people, but it's not going to provide a whole lot of security, safety, whatever. Yeah. Just because somebody doesn't have a temperature does not at all mean that they do not have COVID and aren't going to give you COVID. So you got to take extra precautions on top of that. Extra precautions would be not being in the same room as somebody else without a mask on, limiting the amount of time you're in the same room with somebody else, even if you do have a mask on. Basically, having a mask on when you are not in your house or like away from people outside. Just do it. Even if you're with people outside, have that mask on. Yeah, that just it seems like the one thing that works, and the places where they're doing that, the numbers are still going down, and everywhere that they're doing a bad job of that, the numbers are going up. And at the moment, for example, in Texas, we have erased all of the hard work that people did during the shutdown to try and get this virus out. And we have this massive surge of virus, resurgence of virus. And yeah, that's a real shame. People made some serious sacrifices to get the virus down. And yeah, one happy-go-lucky weekend and a couple of bars and clubs later, and we are back much worse than we were before. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, you're talking about schools, and that's going to be the next big thing. The next big sort of fight, because schools exist so that you can go to them and so you can, yeah, kids can get an education or you can get an education. And COVID is just making that whole aspect, which is totally essential to the world, really, really tough. So, yeah, if the answer is not online school, I don't know what the answer is. And I'm the opposite of a fan of online anything. And yet, yeah, I recognize this is the best way to do the best we can under the circumstances, which are bad. So, I don't like it, but this is the way. Yeah, just like the Mandalorian says. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe out there, whatever you're doing. And this has been Ask Dr. Ben.